We're living in a time where you must know the real from the fake. You ever been hurt in the church? If so, then I can relate. But it wasn't God who failed you. It was man. So let me help you understand that there are false prophets. They're imposters because they're not teaching what thus said the Father. They've traded prophecy for philosophy, creating new age teachings, performing tap dance preaching, afraid to speak the truth because their members may approve, that their offering place may dwindle with a for sale sign in their window. They're committing spiritual adultery, also discreetly. They avoid all things controversy. Careful to step on no one's feet, please. Their mouths are like arrows, shooting false hope, and it's addictive. It's addictive like dope because we're living in the years of the itching ears, where sugar-coated lies are all we want to hear, but if it causes conviction, they dare not go near. And they claim they're God's appointed, but we're never anointed. And so we go to the church house, we sing and shout, and we leave, still defeated, never getting the healing that we needed. And them hypocrites I see, stop hiding, because you're not hiding. How long will you keep up this facade? Because you can live your life deceiving man, but you won't hide nothing from God. Them false prophets, they think they've mastered God's grace, that they dilute his word and contradict it in his face. This is such a disgrace how these liars try to shame the Christ's name, how they prostitute his gospel for glory and for fame, how they disobey and rebel as if there is no hell. They'll have some answering to do. Knowingly distorting the truth. From scriptures they pick and they choose what conveniently justifies their alternative lives. Wise in their own eyes, giving half-truths and whole lies. Satan, take off your disguise. They done turned the pulpit into a reality show, and it's time for them to be exposed. Because God always reveals what they try to conceal, secretively bringing destructive heresies and denying the master who brought them, while bringing upon themselves a swift destruction. It's because of them that the way of truth is blasphemed, and they exploit us with false words to profit their greed. Their end will match their deeds. Beware of the new and improved doctrine. Say, no thank you, but the Bible doesn't need any help. Man's own wisdom wasn't enough to save himself. It's either it's hot or it's cold. They can't preach lukewarm, but I see them serving two gods. So whose team are they on? Please don't believe every spirit, but put it to the test to know if it is of evil or of righteousness. We must hide God's word in our heart so we may know the difference to tell them apart, and we will know them by their fruit, by the evil they produce. Supposed to be teaching us what Jesus said, healing the people's pain, but instead they rather play with our heads, with their hands in our pockets or their feet in our beds. Some will even show miracles in the Lord's name they'll proclaim, but it'll only be all for their own personal gain. Yes, even the elite will fall into deceit, so be careful not to follow their feet. Master manipulators, obsessed with control, preaching salvation but have lost their own souls. How can a blind man guide? But yes, these are all signs that we are near the end time. But know that the Lord is your shepherd, and his sheep will know his voice. It's religion or it's God's relationship, and we have the choice. It is the time for our leaders to be refined. It is the time for our churches to be defined. And when they get to heaven's gates, will they be declined? When God opens his book, will their names be signed? Well, I'm only accountable for mine and you for yours, and your faith is your responsibility and no one else's chore. I pray you found this information useful because I'm commissioned by God, so I don't need man's approval. Seek God's truth. It will set you free. Don't be deceived by those who misrepresent. And don't shoot the messenger. Just know that I'm heaven sent.